So this will be episode 2 of the Beer, Dice, and Sick Minis podcast. Me, your favorite announcer, Eric.
Yay!
Everybody's excited with the usual crew. Joe McLean.
Present.
He is here, people. I can see him.
Oh, some days.
Yeah.
Some days.
Someday.
Actually, I'm kind of a big dude, so it'd be kind of hard to miss.
Occasionally he hides behind trees. And
No mo.
Speaking of trees, Jeremy Wilkson.
Huh?
That guy.
I am Groot.
I am Jeremy.
Why is Groot?
Anyway, we are a podcast for people who are irreverent, offensive.
Offended.
Yeah, we're that
We're
too.
offended as well.
Yeah, we're that too.
As long as we're that as well. Offensive gamers, you know, the usual kind who like to drink
Sounds
beer.
like a bad essential oil.
Yeah, it is.
Offended.
It is. You can actually get some at Little Five.
Cures autism, boys and girls.
Try our new trinket line.
No, that's vaccine. Anyway, you know, as you've noticed by our intro, we kind of don't give two shits if you are offended or triggered.
Trigger warning.
Hashtag dick pickle.
Dick pickle, the food that is fun for you.
That's our sponsor today. Anyway, we are, you know, kind of that type of gamer that just likes to game and not give two shits. And we don't. Anyway, we're going to do a special episode because of the recent release of Malifaux M3E 3rd Edition. Because everybody here but McLean loves that game.
I'm still learning. Maybe one day.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
It's okay.
He is the doo-doo head today.
I like lots of models.
And there's lots of models in Malifaux. You just can't play them all at once.
I like to play them all at once. That's why I bought Apocalypse, Eric.
You can play the other side.
The other side of the pillow.
I mean, whatever you...
Is that the cool side?
Whatever you and your wife or farm animals or whatever you like to do on your own time, that's you.
Oh, Lord. Cut the feed.
No.
No, we need witnesses.
Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
Yeah. So we're going to try and have this episode brought to you by less awkward pauses and more dick pickle.
Dick pickle.
Anyway, we're going to run down kind of the history and lore of Malifaux. We did talk a good bit about the rules and some of the lore last episode because it does happen to be a favorite of mine and Jeremy's and our extended gaming group, who sometimes appear on this podcast and who many times appeared on the Beer Hammer podcast.
Maybe I'll change my mind tonight. I don't know.
You should change your mind.
Mm-hmm. Try me.
I know it happens about as often as you change your underwear. So that's what, once every 5-10 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
See,
but,
you can turn them around and flip them inside out. It's very convenient.
I know.
Once they dry.
And then if somebody needs a stool, semen, and urine sample, you're covered.
You give them you just give them the underwear.
You just give them the underwear. You go commando for half a day. Whoop-de-doo.
Wait, half a day?
Well, I mean, it depends on when during the day they asked you.
Hey, it's July in Georgia. It's pretty much
Yeah.
till September.
I'm just talking about, you know, whenever somebody would ask you for a stool, urine, and semen sample. I don't know how often that happens for you.
More often than one might think.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Dick pickle.
Dick pickle. Jeremy's the only one who ever asked me for that, and I'm not sure why, but I just leave
You
it
know
be.
why.
All right. He likes to lick my underwear. It's weird. I let it go.
Just wake up in the middle of the night. You see nothing.
Yeah. I'm like, Jeremy, what the hell are you doing in my room?
This is all incredibly accurate. I have nothing to add.
It's like an episode of National Geographic. It's so accurate.
I know, including his big pondulous swaying titties.
Again, I have nothing. Yeah.
He's like a regular old white guy, blessed of December. That's a Malifaux reference.
there you
Hey,
go, yeah.
look at that. That's
She's
Malifaux
hot.
jokes.
So I knew that because I didn't get it.
Yeah, Blessed of December is the Nat Geo titties model.
I feel like that's half of Malifaux models, honestly.
No, because most of them are nice, good,
Just the good
wonderfully
half.
pin-up breasts.
Just a good half.
Yeah.
Yeah. or they're zombie tits, and we don't care about those. But
Remember, boys and girls, it's not necrophilia if they're still warm.
true. That's true. And dead girls don't say no.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Don't
moving
kink shame
on.
me, Eric.
I'm not. I'm letting it be. I'm letting it ride. I mean, I'm not here to
God,
say
Linda.
anything about that. Anyway. Moving on in our podcast after whatever's going on with Linda over there in the corner. We're not going to talk about her. Shut up. Yeah, so Malifaux, we couldn't go over too in depth on a lot of the M3E stuff last time because we didn't have while the rulebooks had been released free on PDF and all that, we didn't have it as a plan for the show, and we didn't quite have everything and hadn't had time to just kind of study and digest the information. Since then, all of our faction cards have come in and rulebooks and all that fancy stuff, and we've got a lot of neat things to say. While I haven't played a game since last podcast, here's looking to you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
I don't know how many times I'm like, hey, come over for gaming, come over.
It's true. Yeah, that's me. I'm the lame one on this
Oh,
one.
that's
Yeah.
funny because I distinctly remember last time you canceled, sir.
Yeah, I did, but that's totally different. We're not talking about
totally different.
that. I'm your podcast supervisor, and that does
You're not my supervisor.
Yes, I am. Right now I am. I don't care that you're not getting paid. So we're going to kind of go over the rule book.
Wait, we're not getting paid?
No. You're not leaving.
Oh.
Because of Dick
My
Pickle.
chain only reaches so far.
Yeah, pretty much. Dick Pickle.
Dick Pickle. Oh, man, I was drinking a beer. I missed that one.
Yeah. Oh, got to drink again. It's the Beer Dice and Sick Minis drinking game.
There you go.
Okay.
Every time we say dick pickle, you
Try
have
to
to
play
take a
along
drink.
at home, kids.
Yeah. See if you can get more hammered than your hosts.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. So, starting up with our fancy rulebook, we have the Factions of Malifaux. Just to go over for all you newbies, there is the Guild. They are kind of the, I don't know, Big Brother.
That's accurate.
Yeah, they're not all negative. They're looked at very negatively because they do kind of try to control.
It's the man.
Yeah. Control everything. But at the same time, they do actually, you would not have stability and civility
There'd be
in
no
Malifaux
society without them.
Yeah. So there is a good
That's
side.
what the government wants you to think.
Exactly. And,
But in this instance, they're right.
yeah,
I'll just be over here with my tinfoil hat.
you should. And then there's the Arcanist, which is, there's two different sides to the Arcanist, which is the actual Rebel Alliance, which is actually more of a terrorist organization than the Rebel Alliance as portrayed in Star Wars, which was more of a feel-good, friendly, happy, let's go play with the little teddy bears in the Forest Moon of Endor.
They did a lot of
Rebel
dark
Alliance.
shit in Star Wars.
Let's go blow up a large
And they were all
construction
happy
site.
about it. I was very...
Yeah. And they didn't quite ever seem to realize that, hey, we're fucking terrorists.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Arcanists do know that half of their, one side of their whole business thing is terrorism. The other side is actually really good. It's the Miners and Steamfitters Union, which is a workers' union to keep the guild from oppressing the workers that are working in the Soulstone mines.
But at the
believe
same
in
time,
unions.
that union uses some of the same skullduggery and thuggery that the guild does.
That's why I don't believe in unions.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, they kind of have to. Then, of course, there's the Neverborn, who are the natives.
That's right. The oppressed. Down
Yeah.
with everybody else.
I don't think they're really that
Down with the
oppressed.
bourgeois.
You have the Resurrectionists, who technically are the repressed. Nobody likes the Resurrectionists.
Yeah. They're
except
just a
for
little
the
misunderstood.
Resurrectionists. Yeah. Because,
Sounds like Rakasans.
they like to hang out with the Grave Spirit, whom everybody's kind of terrified of, and resurrect things and have zombies and all that kind of stuff. The Ten Thunders, which is C Yakuza.
I got that vibe a lot, actually.
Yeah,
when I was looking
that
through
checks
it.
out.
Basically, they're the faction that does things for, the Three Kingdoms, which is basically supposed to be Vietnam, China, and Japan all allied together. Then there's the Outcasts, which are just people who don't fit anywhere. They're the we want to be free, or we want to do our own thing. Screw you guys, screw society, screw everybody else.
Fuck yeah, America.
Yeah. The Outcasts happen to be my favorite faction because free spirit, baby, free spirit. Then there's the Bayou, which is a bunch of gremlins and Zoraida,
Yep.
who's actually partially Neverborn.
Gremlins got a lot of fun stories. They're a lot of your comic relief, but
Yeah.
it's still there's still
Little
that-
piggies.
Yeah,
They do have piggies. And then
Riding
there's
pigs,
the...
throwing pigs,
Yeah.
painting pigs.
There's nothing like having a pig-a-pult. That's all I'm saying. And I think everyone should have one. Then lastly, there is the newest faction, which is the Explorers Society. And these guys are basically people that, as it's described in the book, the Explorer Society is expanding into unfurling the
Sounds like a
mysteries.
bad high school club.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Malifaux and beyond. They want to explore and go find new
like
territories.
if Indiana
Like, they
Jones
should
was
have
your
a-
homeroom teacher.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
should have like
yeah.
a secret handshake and everything.
I bet they do.
And they have a weird kid guarding the door to get into the club.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw on one of the Facebook groups, somebody had found the inspiration for Cornelius Bass, which we believe that is the pronunciation of his name. He was actually based off one of the first black U.S. Marshals, who was named. It was basically Cornelius Bass. It was something Cornelius Bass.
Okay.
Yeah, or along those lines. It was a very similar name. It may not have been exact, but his last name was Bass.
I'll have to look that up.
And
It's spelled Basse, correct?
the model is the actual Marshall. I think his was just BASS. So it's a little different. They usually
think
switch things up a little bit.
No, I don't.
I may be wrong. I mean,
I'm a terrible speller.
I'm also sometimes wrong.
Sometimes.
Very rarely. Anyway, he
See, it was the U.S. Marine. Yeah, Bass Reeves was his name.
Bass Reeves.
From
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, these guys,
Bass
they're
stood for
all
badass.
It describes them as
He
aristocrats.
looks like a badass.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Dude,
mean, that is
I love
a
that mustache.
serious
And literally-
handlebar mustache. Yeah.
If you put a big floppy hat on that dude, that is the face of the model.
Heck yeah, that's awesome
Like,
though.
Yeah, it is. It's badass.
I like
Yeah.
this one.
Shot
This
and
one.
killed 14 people in
That's
self-defense.
I like it.
Yeah, we'll get into her.
Oh, that's a ride.
Yeah. You can fuck me flying. Okay, Titania.
If you can stay on, you can have it.
Get her done.
But then there's the Explorers, like I said, the Explorer Society or whatever. They're, hunters, explorers. They're described as aristocrats, dark tourists, and pioneers. So obviously you can see right there they're foreshadowing having, like I assume like almost a Lucius Matheson type master that, does a lot of the scheme. The scheme running master is probably aristocratic.
Yeah,
like,
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Things like that. Because Cornelius Bass is, he's actually Guild Explorers dual faction. And he is more like a shooty beat stick kind of dude. So less like schemy and stuff like that. The history of Malifaux is incredibly interesting.
I would agree to that.
I think Jeremy knows quite a bit about that lore, don't you?
I know some. I don't know if I say I know quite a bit, but yeah, I've been reading some, and there's some great podcasts out there that you get to listen to story time, as you said, and yeah, it's a
Brought to you by
Dick Pickle.
Everybody Drink.
No,
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. That was not an awkward pause. That was a drinking pause.
Yes.
There's two different things.
follow
in
along
this
at
show.
home, kids.
Yeah. Just not while you're driving.
This game just got a whole lot more interesting.
We do not condone irresponsible alcoholic imbibing.
Just while you're in a vehicle. Otherwise,
I tried to sound
irresponsibleness is
really
good.
smart
Yeah.
there, and it failed.
It's-
All right. So basically, Malifaux starts kind of with the Neverborn.
yes.
And the things that they did as they learned, their world always had magic and they exist in a plane of magical fanciness.
Yeah, who knows what they were before all the badness with the tyrants and the grave spirit and was it not Titania?
Titania.
Was the Titania, yeah, the Fae, and that whole conflict where Titania was pretty much the main driving force of driving the grave spirit out, but that's what's caused the backlash to taint the future Neverborn, and
Taint.
all her people went into, I guess, some kind of hibernation.
Yeah, kind of. The way I understand it is basically they were essentially humanoid or human-like.
The Neverborn.
The Neverborn originally, and they had magics and they learned magics and they lived in this world and they continually developed magical powers and technologies and created all kinds of fanciful wonders. And as their society became more and more kind of, we don't need to do shit because we got magic for that, bitch. They became more just indulging their desires and following every dark fetish and weird shit they wanted to do. And after so many golden showers, something's going to happen to you psychologically. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so
at a certain point, it becomes normal.
Yeah. And then you got to find the next thrill. And so as they kept
Move
going,
on to the Cleveland Steamer.
Yeah, you got to get somewhere.
It's got to escalate.
Well, first you go to the glass bottom boat before you graduate to that.
Then you go to a screaming pelican.
Yeah.
And then, so anyway, they basically several of the Neverborn, pretty much like figured out how to become virtually immortal.
Yeah.
They had physical bodies. They became the tyrants, and they took on names that were no longer their true names, but were names based on whatever their powers were, whatever their magical studies were.
So it's almost kind of like a Malifaux's like 7 deadly sins too, because it always seems to be like a one word thing that they're into, whether it's
there's
rage or what was that? Then there's the disease one, but there was like a solitary word.
Yeah, usually like December is snow stuff.
Yeah.
Nightmare is the dreams and nightmare stuff. But then you have like Sharoof, which is like,
what the hell is that?
Is that a word? I don't know what the fuck that word means. I haven't put it in Google Translate yet to figure it out. But
No.
What I'm saying is they all have kind of like that
radio.
right?
that one name moniker, like they're all trying to be share.
Right. And that name was a descriptor for themselves. And they rose up in power. And they basically started subjugating and enslaving all the other Neverborn who weren't as powerful as them.
How do you spell Sharoof?
Cherufe. That's all I'm doing. But anyway, so then once...
Not a word.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. But so once they actually attained that power and that godhood status and started enslaving everybody, of course, none of the rest of the Neverborn were happy about this. So with all the energies and stuff and mutations and things, they began fighting wars against the tyrants, trying to take them out. And this is when the Neverborn started changing into monsters, and their mentality and psychology changed from kind of a society into becoming these almost horrible things.
But they didn't really make that, as far, maybe I'm wrong about this, about the reading, but they didn't really make that big jump until it was the backlash from like stopping the Grave Spirit, or was it from stopping the tyrants?
It was, from what I understand, it was all the Great Wars with the tyrants, basically, because of so many energies were released, that so many things were warped and changed in their world, that basically shit done got fucked up, and so they became these monsters and stuff, and mutated themselves to better fight the tyrants, whatever plot scheme they were doing to try and take out the tyrants. Well, over time, they finally started basically winning, even though the population was decimated. Their whole entire world was turned upside down and laid to waste and things like that magically. And they ended up imprisoning the tyrants into different cages, different things. I believe one of them was actually thrown into Earthside at that time, which was, during our prehistory. It talks about like the falling star, 6000 BC, and it was part of the one half of the tyrant dragon. Was tossed between dimensions and appeared on the Earth near Mount Etna, on the island of Sicily, which triggered all these issues in our world.
And then there's the one that went into what's her name, Sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was I can't remember. That might have been the dragon. It was either that or stuff like that. And then like some of the Neverborn popped through. There were times where basically things popped through into our world. What was it? Okay, 1293 AD, the Masamune Hinto. Basically, it was Shazul. There's
a handle.
Yeah, there is no Zul.
Breaker 19, Breaker 19.
From now on, he's just Dana to me.
Yeah. There's no Dana, only Zul. But Shazul was blah blah blah, put into a host, blah blah. In the end, basically they fought. The weakened tyrant appeared in the Kanagawa prefecture of Japan, triggering a mighty earthquake that devastated the city of Kamakura and killed tens of thousands. Realizing that it barely survived the journey between dimensions, the tyrant bound its fraying and ragged essence to a samurai lord and forced the man to slaughter those under his command to supply the tyrant with their blood. And as the body count climbed higher, basically it ended up pretty much being that he petitioned the master swordsmith Goro Nyodo Masamune for assistance. Masamune gave the greatest of his blade, the Masamune no Hinto, to the prefect, who used it to cut away and imprison the evil spirit that had possessed his lord. And that's how Shazul ended up in the sword that later the first Victoria ended up with. And then brought back through the breach, and that was what she stabbed the doppelganger with to turn it into her perfect doppelganger, or whatever.
She stabbed it?
I can't remember. I
think a lot of it just had to do with the. I know it was the pulse. It was the energy wave. I've always got the impression that it was a doppelganger. It was just a regular doppelganger that was sent to kill her by Zoraida. But then the pulse happened, and she had already taken on her mannerisms and was near her. And when the pulse happened, it truly, she wasn't just mimicking her anymore. She truly became her. And so now they just run around together, because now that once the doppelganger truly became her, she no longer had a wish to kill her.
Sounds like an awesome Friday night to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
these things happen, and so the tyrants were imprisoned, and then of course the first breach was opened. Which the first breach was opened when mankind, let's see,
1787, the Great Breach.
Yes. It basically was a lot of research and cooperation. There was an organization called the Council, which later became the Guild.
Yep.
Pretty much. Or some iteration of the Council became the Guild. And they basically did a ritual to try and bring magic back to Earth, but instead of doing so, they opened up the Great Breach.
Oops.
A whole lot of motherfuckers died.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, it was a big oops.
Yeah.
My bad, yo.
Yeah, that was basically like Manhattan Project, but we decided to do it in New York.
Yep, and so they walked into Malifaux and basically found all these arcane artifacts, and that their magic was super easy to do at this point, and they basically all started grab-assing for power pretty much immediately and killing each other off, right after they got into the city. And, in the thing, and then, of course, after that, they began to gather into cabals and things like that. And
that's when they discovered soul stones.
Yep, and soul stones, and various books, and all kinds of different stuff. And then, of course, they also found out the myths of Abyssinia, which is the other side faction that's basically Wakanda, because they'd been to Malifaux numerous times.
What is a soul stone?
A soul stone is in
the lore. I know what it is.
Well, it's a fancy gemstone that basically can hold and have magical energy and be imbued with magical energy. And the reason it gets its name is because if you deplete one and then I hold it near you while I kill you, your soul basically re-empowers the stone and causes it to have Nido magical energy again.
You have this very weird look on your face while you stare at me and tell me this. If I kill you with this near you...
I mean, I don't mean this in general. I mean you specifically.
Yeah, only you. Nobody else will power a soul stone. Now you know my plan to open the ninth gate.
So you're telling me I have all the power?
No, I have the power.
But
who has the touch?
Dick Pickle.
Everybody drink.
Dick Pickle. But anyway, so yeah, the fancy, cool, keen, council does their thing, and eventually they find the soul stones. They start setting up the mines, and the council kind of becomes the guild, and the conditions are deplorable and stuff like that.
Which is there where it gives birth to your arcanists.
Right. Well, not quite yet, because what happens is the breach basically closes.
Yeah.
As the guild is forming and creating their, and starting to take over and basically be able to influence all the world's governments, because they're like, oh, you want to do that policy? We don't like that policy, so we're going to cut you off from soul stones. Since they are powering everything and doing everything now on Earth, because we don't have regular magic of our own, we have to use it through these soul stones. once those governments were cut off, they were like, oh, no, we can't have that. Because then they were going to fall behind economically and militarily and all that kind of stuff. And so, the guilds started kind of controlling all these governments.
So it's basically oil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
And so then but more so. And then after that, of course, the breach ends up becoming unstable. And so they start having problems getting soul stones through and all this other stuff. And that was when the Neverborn attacked the humans that were there. And the reason was the humans had started, waking up the tyrants. And, they started sensing the tyrants stirring in their cages. I think one or the other had found research on stuff and was starting to go after one of the tyrants or something. I don't remember exactly. But they started going after him. And then so the freaking Neverborn were like, fuck this shit, and threw all the humans out and killed them all.
Fuck yeah.
And
last thing they did was throw a torso of a human through the breach. They have just the word ours carved into the chest.
Well, it was a corpse.
Yeah.
They don't, it might have been intact. But yeah, it said ours, the breach closes, and humanity is left for 100 years with only whatever soul stones they've already gotten out of Malifaux. And that's how they learned to recharge them next to dying bodies and things like that. And the guild is controlling its own dwindling supply, rationing them out to countries. And they kind of like gain and rise power. And then as the 100 years waxes on, they start, losing power and influence because, the countries are like, well, we're never going to get back to Malifaux. So fuck you and fuck your soul stones. We'll figure something else out. And as they start kind of doing that, the guild, last ditch effort ends up, the breach reopens. They end up reopening the breach.
Now, did they open it or did it just open? I forget that about in the story, if they actually did it or if it just opened on its own.
We have all the lore right here.
That's right, yeah, because I thought it just opened, which was always like the mystery, like why did it open?
Oh, look, there's the corpse. It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's intact.
Oh, yeah.
See? Right there.
Yeah. Then you had the Black Powder Wars.
Yep.
The breach reopens. With all the guild power, they were still able to reopen the breach. Made many attempts to force the portal back open for decades, but were repeating the original ritual by devastating new ones, despite all of their power and all of their soul stones. However, Malifaux remained closed to them like a door that had been firmly wedged shut.
1 century after its calamitous closure, just as the guild seemed ready to abandon its efforts, once and for all, the breach suddenly and inexplicably reopened. So it was just kind of a bloop. Hi, I'm open again. And
me too.
Yeah, we know. He keeps spreading his legs in clouds of flies.
Hey, it's called man spreading.
Yeah, we know.
I find it delightfully offensive.
Delightfully so.
Yay! Dick pickle.
Everyone drink.
I mean, that fit.
You say that, but you haven't tried to take that bad boy on.
It's like a mini cucumber, actually.
What?
It's not a fully formed pickle. You know those mini pickles?
You got a
Shush.
gherkin?
Yeah.
Shush you. So the breach does reopen inexplicably, and then of course the guild is able to get their power base back. Things like that kind of do that, and this is where you start having the rise of the miners, the Steamfitters Union, and the Arcanists, and the black trade and soul stones, all that kind of stuff going on, and the Malifaux world as we know it starts happening through. And that's when, all the stuff with the tyrants starts happening, where, basically kind of the, I believe through the Breach Side broadcast, which is the official weird podcast that goes over the lore. That all
definitely takes place around after the breach reopening.
Yeah,
it's very present day in the lore is where those take place.
Because, it starts out, Rasputina is already somewhat possessed by December.
Yes.
Has already done all that stuff. And that's when you get, the stories of the Master start picking up. Everything goes up until the present day year, which is 1907. The other side went to 1906 in their lore, and then the M3E goes to 1907. And of course, you have things like Blight or Plague is one of the tyrants, and that's the rat catcher Hamelin, happens upon in the old sewers of Malifaux. He accidentally falls into the cage that was encasing this thing, and it basically possesses him and all the rats, and they keep having these outbreaks of blight and plague throughout the city.
That's a fun story on the Breachside broadcast,
Yeah, it
too.
is.
It's nasty.
That's a
Yeah.
fun story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it crosses over several different arcs, like when Colette and her-
Giant acid-spitting maggots.
yeah.
Yeah, good
Oh,
times.
dude, it's Nurgle.
yeah,
like
it's
Doom.
Nurgle. Yeah,
In 40K terms, it is straight up some Nurgle shit.
yeah.
Because I mean, even down to like they're describing like Colette, who is one of the Arcanists, and her she runs basically the Star Theater in Malifaux, which is all the performing girls, and they do all the dances
Miss Dubois.
and the entertainment for the a lot of the miners.
The entertainment.
I mean,
It's more more showgirl, less
Yeah.
brothel, but it's still some brothel.
yep. They don't say it's not.
They don't say it's not.
And so basically
All
they
I'm saying is you don't come for the show. Double entendre.
Dick pickle.
yeah, dick pickle. Anyway, the damn performer girls and Colette and all that, they are actually hired by Victor Ramos, who was the head of the Arcanists and the Miners and Steamfitters Union at the time. He basically got them to start running these soul stones back and forth, and they were part of the big actual smuggling trade of the Arcanists to get the soul stones back Earthside. Mm-hmm. And so, they're in the process of smuggling these soul stones out to the breach, because it's a ways out from Malifaux City. There's a train that literally brings you in, and they're wandering through the sewers underneath to get out to the breach, and they end up encountering bits of the plague basically, and it like literally the one girl's just like devoured by maggots and rats, and just like you're like
Yeah,
"Holy
in
shit."
moments.
Yeah, in just minutes. And then of course Colette's like, all right, cool. Grabs this weird soul stone and starts using it to just destroy shit. But the as the time goes on, you have that, and that's where they come in, and then and that's when Rasputina, who was a woman working in the mines, she basically runs away as an indentured servant, gets sick of working. And she runs into the mountains and runs into, December. And December basically makes a deal with her and is like, cool, I'll save you and you can, run my cult basically, but I get to possess you. And she
Sounds like a fair trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she crawfishes him.
Yeah. And so she kind of goes back and forth, and she ends up learning how to kind of coexist, I guess, where she can't, she won't let him all the way through. And he's, yeah, it's
Just
so
the
it's kind of
tip?
weird. Yeah, just
Yeah.
the tip. And so that that's her story and stuff like that. And you get into just all these different stories. And of course the Neverborn.
Because in the end, he wants to completely manifest her. She'd be gone completely.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Right. And so of course, this story arc brings you into a lot of these people kind of end up happenstance converging onto an area called Kythera in the swamp.
And that's where you have,
Yeah.
what's her name? I always forget her name. The one that became 2 because of the doppelganger.
Yeah, that's where Victoria shows
That's
up.
where the Victorias happen,
Yeah.
is around the time of Kythera.
Yeah, the Victorias happen. Rasputina ends up there. Victor Ramos ends up there with some of his constructs. You also have Lady Justice and Sonia Crid show up there.
I have one question.
They're big guild enforcers. Yeah.
How does he holster his pistols with these big ass blades on there?
He probably doesn't.
Well, he has holsters on.
Yeah. Joe is pointing out Santiago Ortega. I believe that's Santiago. Anyway.
Looks
who
like
has
he's
big-
from a machete movie.
Yeah. That's basically the Ortegas. And anyway, so you know
Just
what?
a random thought.
You figure it out.
Looks dangerous.
But anyway, so they end up actually. What happens is, I can't remember. Somebody's basically being manipulated to, or what is it? Seamus and McMorning,
Yeah.
I think.
Seamus McMorning.
Seamus and McMorning.
Well, I
They're
thought-
two different people.
Are they-
McMorning is the guild autopsy guy. Seamus is the hardcore resurrectionist.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
my
they're
bad.
two different folks.
God, get your head out of your ass, Jeremy.
I know, right?
But they basically find out all this stuff about
I didn't write this shit. I'm just trying to learn it.
right? But they basically find out how to open up Kythera to work with the grave spirit to become, ultimate resurrectionists and ultimate, zombie undead controllers or whatever. And so they're going there to open it, and then there's all these forces that converge to stop them. And it turns into a big brawl and battle and, whatnot. And then, of course, they do eventually stop the grave spirit, barely. But if I remember correctly, several other tyrant cages are weakened and opened, and different stuff like that happens. And eventually you have the never...
Was that? I think that was more about the event and the pulse that did that more than stopping the grave spirit.
Well, the pulse was them basically... in opening Kythera, the pulse was the graveyard energy. The grave spirit energy.
I have a new development, by the way.
Yeah.
The Sharoof is a large man-eating mythical creature found in the Mampuche mythology of the indigenous Mampuche people of South Central Chile.
Huh.
Oh,
Here's a picture.
I want to see a picture.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at a picture.
He's a big fire lizard.
Great radio.
Oh yeah, yeah, good stuff. I mean, it basically looks like a villain from like a monster from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, big old fire lizard.
Yeah.
You told me the wrong spelling, so.
No, I told you the spelling that they have in the book.
Oh, I guess it's spelled differently.
I said Cherufe.
I guess I heard something else.
Yeah.
It's been a long couple days.
Don't blame your shit on me.
I do what I want.
I'm your podcast supervisor.
Dick Pickle.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going to induct Dick Pickle at this point.
I'm Dick Pickle Rick.
All right. Well, just so long as whoever's dick pickle you're inducting pays you at least a shiny quarter.
Whoa, we're inducting these things
Why
now?
has it got to be shiny?
I mean, you can have tarnished ones if you want.
I want to be offended by that statement until someone tells me what that means.
I don't know either. But yeah, so and of course, as these cages get broken and split open, different things happen. Eventually, the Neverborn actually bring back Titania, which is their queen, and or was their queen at one point, and is part of the Fae.
Yeah,
And
think fairy if they're mean, belligerent, scary, and bleed from their eyes.
which is actually kind of how the Irish Fae are. Yeah, they're not friendly.
Mm.
We're happy. We're pleasant.
So just general Irishmen.
Wow, we do not condone racism in any form on this show,
No, we
unless
don't.
it's funny.
Come on, that was funny.
I mean,
If you didn't think that was funny, then fuck you.
you don't chew Big Red? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
If you don't love America, then fuck you.
Yeah, true story there. So yeah, of course, all these things have happened, and a lot of these things are in the lore books. They're in the lore in the beginning of the manual, and I can tell you that the lore, all the stories, all the backgrounds of the masters are so incredibly fascinating, and that's kind of what really makes the game. The models are good quality. I would honestly put their plastic models at literally second in quality and detail to GW's, who's basically number one in my eyes. I mean, you really, it's really hard to beat that. But I mean, and the newer boxes too, because I was just putting together the Burning Bridges box.
Oh, from the new ones?
Yeah, because
And?
I'm like, well, yeah, Elijah Borgman, Fireborn, they can go with my Karis, who's already painted and everything. I can have a crew that's already half painted, put that out, and then ruin Jeremy's day with a shit ton of pyre markers.
Love it. Bring it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ever going to play, but I'm going to buy the, what is it, the Titiana box or whatever?
The Titiana box.
That's what I call her.
Titania.
No, that's
No, Titiana.
it's Titiana. That's what it is now.
Oh boy! All right, it's Titiana. Which, by the way, good luck finding that box. I had to just about because I wanted it too, and I had to
You
just
forget
about,
who you're talking to?
I had to just about kill somebody to get the box.
Well, I will kill somebody.
It
for
will
the
be
box.
re-released, but
I'm an
until it
American.
is-
I don't like to wait, sir. I want it now.
Well,
I'm an
good luck.
Amazon Prime member. If I can't get it in
It's
2
not
days,
on there.
then somebody's going to
It's
have to
not
get
on
shot.
Amazon Prime.
That's
It's
just the
not
way
on
it is.
Miniature Market. It's
You
not
guys,
on eBay.
you guys keep mentioning all these other. These are not our sponsors. We're sponsored by Dick Pickle. Dick Pickle.
Oh yeah, Dick Pickle. Fuck.
Got him.
Anyway, so the lore is what has got us. The lore is what brought us, like, we looked over the game, we looked over the models, we thought, okay, cool, we get the game. It was like, cool. Derek initially just kind of like went batshit over the models at Gigabytes, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah. I was like, I've heard of this game, and I've heard of it since like first edition, but I've never played it, I've never messed with it. Those are really cool models. I'd like to paint some up. If you get some, I'll get some, and then we can play sometime. And he was like, okay, cool. So we both went nuts. We bought a few boxes of crap, not knowing what in the hell we were doing or getting. Because unfortunately, one of the
I did that too.
I mean, one of the awesome changes between second and third edition. Second edition, unless you had someone to guide you in what to get, you had no fucking clue.
Yeah, it was pretty vague.
Yeah, and of course you could, the boxes didn't say anything outward of the box. It would have like a crew name, like, the burning rectal itch, and then it would have the faction symbol, but not tell you that it was a specific faction or anything.
Are you looking through my medical chart again, Eric?
Yes.
Okay.
It would just be on there, but it wouldn't tell you what the fuck faction it was, what anything was. So you could pick that up and pick up a thing of 10 Thunders and not realize that they don't really play together, even in second edition. And in second edition, hiring was a lot more open, apparently. But you'd like, what?
I'm like that now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So now with the re-releasing and repackaging, which has hit, a lot of criticism from the old blood of Malifaux.
You get that from every game.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. Literally, it was hilarious. Okay, so a buddy of mine from some of the Facebook groups, Greg Rizzer, me and him were actually on the Weird Place, like, Facebook group. And some guy posted like the pictures of the Marcus box that's going to be released. And he's like, these sculpts look like somebody was like on cerebral palsy or something while they were doing them. Like, I mean, just shitty fucking comments. And I'm like, dude. And so then he goes on, he's like, Malifaux is dead. And so I'm just like, all right, well, cool. I'll just
start. That's it, guys.
Yeah.
Pack up shop.
Back up.
Some douchebag on Facebook said Malifaux's dead. Back it up. We're done.
Let's go home.
Gaming's done. Let's switch over to Tiddlywinks, guys.
Yep. I literally was
got my pickup sticks in the car.
Oh, hell yeah. That's good gaming.
One of my comments was actually like, I just got finished building my, the Burning Bridges box. I guess I'll just start using them as butt plugs. And then it went on to, is that painful rectal itch or just my miniatures? My unused miniatures from this dead Malifaux game.
That's one way to do painting.
Yeah, I know, right? Everything is shit brown. But that's not just
mixed
shit
with
brown.
A little blood.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of pointy bits on there.
Yay. I think there's still a gremlin hanging up in there. But anyway. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. And I honestly, personally like the new style of the box, the art style, the things like that, the look of it, the way everything is. I like the fact the boxes actually have, the faction symbols on them, so you can match up the faction symbols. Mm-hmm. And it has the keyword. More importantly, it has that keyword. So you can see, okay, these are all the nightmare keyword. These are all the bandit keyword. These are all the family keyword, so that anything you buy, expansion boxes, whatever models, whether they can be used together or not because you got the keyword.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the older players are mostly just bitter because they streamline the game a lot.
I just
and
find
anytime you see any game get streamlined that much, I think there's just that bitterness of like, I learned all of this stuff and now it's not there anymore. And we're all pointing at Joe for some reason. I don't know why. Because Eric knows why. I'm just pointing because I don't want to be left out.
Because that was Joe's complaint with 8th edition 40K.
And I still stand by it. But you know what? I'm not the one bitching about it saying Warhammer 40K is dead.
No, I know.
If I want to play it, guess what? I can still play 1st edition if I want to.
Hashtag McLean triggered.
The rulebook still exists. That's what pisses me off about saying the games are dead.
Right.
People still play Battlefleet Gothic. When was the last time they put out a damn rulebook for it?
I still have
Warhammer Fantasy.
I still have my original D&D book.
Exactly.
I still have all that shit. You want to throw down? Let's do it.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Is it's ridiculous. You can find somebody to play a game. You can play whatever game you want to play.
Yeah, just because it's the newest edition doesn't mean that's what you have to play.
Right.
Have your little
you can still play
party. Play whatever edition you
Malifaux
want.
2nd edition. Nobody's gonna fucking stop you.
No.
Yeah.
The Malifaux police are going to bust into your house at 2 a.m. when you're fucking over here with a beer saying, no, you're not playing third.
Right.
And you're drinking the wrong beer.
I mean, there's still people that are, avid players of Warhammer Fantasy Battles.
Oh, yeah.
And
Not even 7th edition.
right. Hey, no big deal. You got the books and materials, you play it.
Some people still play, 6th edition, or 5th edition, which was the best
I
one.
actually posted on the, play group the other day about who wants to get together for an enticing game of Kriegspiel.
Oh, I would throw down on that in a heartbeat.
I know, I probably would too. But
First of
Yeah.
all, we don't have enough money to pay a rule maker, so
a what?
Oh, I'd do it.
or a goaltender, whatever the fuck he was called.
Oh, I would do that. I would actually have more fun doing that than
the
playing.
referee.
Yeah, the referee. That sounds like fun.
We
Coming
don't-
up with the scenarios.
There's iterations of the game without a referee.
no, that's
No, why would you play that? Just go to the first one.
Because you want to. I can play whatever version of Kriegspiel I want.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Dick pickle. Drink.
Dick
fucker.
pickle.
Yep.
Food that is good for you.
All right, I am now out of drink, so
break time.
and we've kind of digressed to a wild range of play whatever fucking version of whatever fucking game you want.
Do whatever makes you
like-
happy. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna break, and then we'll be right back.
I had to give a presentation.
And we're back.
Cool.
Yeah. Right in the middle of that.
Just like that.
I was just like, I don't feel like waiting for these chuckleheads to chill the fuck out so I can start the thing. I'm just gonna start it. Just gonna start recording again. Awkward
There's your
pause.
honest moment. That's what you get for that.
Yeah, fuck you. Anyway, so moving on, we've kind of gushed about the lore for quite a bit of time. We're going to move on to some of the mechanics and gameplay of Malifaux and how you actually play. And we're going to talk about what I think one of the coolest things is the cards.
Absolutely.
Now, for those of you who never played Malifaux before, the M2E cards were kind of your, like, slightly bigger than, like, business card size. That kind of weird small card. They were,
Like an Uno card.
yeah. They were kind of landscape printed, back, front and back, and, they had their information on it. It was nice. They were decent little cards. They weren't bad. I won't argue with them. But now they have switched to tarot-sized cards, which are way bigger.
And also fits the theme.
Yes. And honestly, the artwork is amazing on them. I love it. They have high-quality cards. They are nice and good and thicky and have a nice coating on them that, gloss
That's how I like
coating.
them.
Yeah, thicky.
Thicky with the gloss coat.
It's easy to read everything and see everything that your models are going to be doing. And all in all, I think the cards are exceptional prints. And having looked through quite a bit of them, you get in the faction packs that they released, you can buy whatever pack for your faction. It has whatever models are currently out and in play. So that does not include Dead Man's Hand or models that they have announced that they have not released yet. So like in the Arcanist faction deck, you don't have like the Firebranded and Elijah Borgman.
Or the aversion for my Neverborn, which I was disappointed because I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to look like and all that, and they weren't in there.
Those won't be out until the box that has them comes out.
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Sucks to be you.
But
Sad trombone.
Aw.
rusty trombone.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put them together.
Sad
rusty trombone.
Do you want a dick pickle? Because that's how you get a dick pickle.
Dick pickle. Yay. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on, Malifaux basically starts with you setting up an encounter. And the idea is that each of you has a fate deck. And a fate deck can be played with a normal playing card, deck of playing cards. You just need a way to make sure you denote which Joker is the black Joker, which Joker is the red Joker, if it is not specific to whatever deck of playing cards you have. Because some playing cards have both Jokers identical. So you
A
have
Sharpie will fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of mark which one's which. That's the only main issue I've seen with playing with a regular deck of cards. And the manual says, use this suit for this suit and all that, because the Malifaux Fate deck has 4 suits, rams, tomes, crows, and masks. Yeah. I always leave one, have trouble remembering one, whatever.
Everybody gets one.
Right. The
Spider-Man
shut up.
does whatever a Spider-Man does.
That's not how that goes.
That's how it goes in my head.
It's Spider Pig.
Spider-Pig
Spider-Pig
does whatever a Spider-Pig does.
That Simpsons movie reference brought to you by 2 old fat guys.
And Dick Pickle.
Oh, God.
Drink again, you bitches. Anyway,
Felt left out. I had to do it.
No.
yeah, you should. But
Well,
once,
feel left out or have to do it?
shush. Once you get your Fate deck going, you shuffle it and everything, and then you'll both flip a card. That will give you basically your strategy and your deployment. Based on the book, your strategy is, the suit of, the attacker?
Yeah.
Yeah, the suit of the attacker determines the strategy.
So first you basically do like an initiative flip. Who's going to be the attacker, who's going to be the defender, and whoever the attacker is determines the deployment and strategy.
Well, the higher card number determines the strategy.
Yeah.
That's the attacker that determines the strategy. You have 4 strategies. Turf War, which is really cool because basically the table's split up into quarters and then you have a marker in the center. You have to kill things to flip the markers to neutral and then do the interact action to flip them to your faction. And you can score up to 4 VP by flipping, one more marker than you had the turn before to whatever your, faction marker is. Of course, it's kind of a lot harder, trickier to do than that. It's not hard to score the first couple points off that, but it is hard to score the last few points off of that.
I need this model. What's this model?
That's Cornelius Bass.
I need it.
Anyway, the after Turf War, you have Corrupted Idols, which is basically every turn you generate a marker onto the table, and that marker can be pushed onto the opponent's table edge, but it does hurt your models when you push it. And you have to score points by getting more markers into their table half than yours. It's like a weird game of tug-of-war football.
Then after that, you've also got Plant Explosives.
Yep.
Which that gets you put markers
Giggity.
on. Yeah, that's a good one. You get to put markers on the models you choose to put them on, and then it's all about getting those markers to the other side of the table into your opponent's deployment zone, so you can make them go boom.
Yep. Is it deployment zone or just table half?
It might just be table half, actually. Yeah.
I would say, because I think it's table half. It's not quite as hard as trying to get them into the deployment zone, because some of those deployments it'd be really hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course that blows them up. And then there is Reckoning,
Yeah.
which is you just straight up kill the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Then of course you have your 4 different deployments, which is your standard, which is 8 inches up, center line is across the table. Then you have a corner deployment, a wedge deployment. I don't remember what the name of the other one is called, but it's like flank deployment or something like that.
Yeah, you basically have the pyramid, you've got the L shape, you've got the
then
straight line,
and then the circles,
and then the circle.
the circles and the corners.
Yeah.
And of course, once you've determined all of that, then the
Determine
attacker
the schemes.
The attacker flips 5 cards. You can't have repeats and all that. And then you determine the schemes. You generate a list of 5 schemes, and each of you secretly picks 2 as special things to create more points. And you can only score up to 4 points from schemes.
Yeah, and the best part, what I love about this game, is that usually, from what I've seen in a lot of games, you show up, you bring your army, you bring your list, whatever you're going to play, and then you generate your game and you go. But with this one, you generate the game, then you decide what faction you're going to play, Then you both decide what leader you're going to play. Then you go about building your army. So you understand exactly what you're facing as opposed as the gameplay. Then both of you know what faction each of you are playing. Then both of you know what leader you're playing. Then you go about actually building your army list against that.
And one of the great things about that, like, say you're playing Arcanists, say that's your main faction. Well, you know, if you're playing Colette Dubois, who is not a beat stick master by any means, in fact, actually, that whole crew is very low damage output, but they do a lot of like scheme manipulation and stuff like that, and movement and neat little tricks. They're not meant to kill the other crew. They're meant to actually do whatever manipulation. So if your strategy is Reckoning, which is where you have to kill the other crew members, you probably don't want to pick Colette as your master. It'd be kind of a bad decision because you're not going to score the points, especially if they're playing something that's like, say, Neverborn, like Nekama, that's a beat stick, just kill the shit out of everything. You know, you're going to get wrecked if you pick that matchup on a Reckoning strategy. And then, furthermore, as you're going on, you basically, once you have that kind of, set up for the game, you're going to pick your, as Jeremy said, your factions, then your master, and you declare them simultaneously. So you basically both say, okay.
Just write it down.
Yeah, well, you can write down and show it to each other right at the same time. I'm going to play Outcast.
I have another game for that, but we'll get to that later.
I'll like hide the sausage.
Tummy sticks.
That sounds weird. But and then once you've done that, then you kind of secretly hire your crew. Crew hiring is cool. It's by keyword. So, if you're playing Arcanist and you're, doing the the fire crew, Karis. I can't remember what the hell her damn keyword is. I think it's
fire.
Yeah, fire something or another. Anyway,
fire wench.
Or like say you're playing Rasputina, her keyword on her crew is December, I believe. And so you basically would say, okay, cool. Any models you hire that are December models, you will literally pay exactly what the soulstone cost is. And you and your opponent decide, kind of before you start, whether you're going to do 30, 40, 50 soulstones. 50 soulstones is a good game. You're probably going to play, if you're learning, you're probably going to be a little over 3 hours. If you're kind of well-versed, you're going to get down in an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how you play. On a 50 soulstone crew. When you get down to 40 and 30, it goes a good bit quicker.
How many models is that?
It depends. On a 50 soulstone crew, like usually we have anywhere between like 7 to 10 models kind of per crew.
Do you think if you're closer to the 7, you're probably a beat stick? If you're higher, you're more of a scheme runner.
I'm always a beat stick.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Dick pickle.
Oh, God. We saw what you did to those hookers. Anyway.
They're only hookers when they're dead.
Oh, yeah, they're call
escorts.
girls.
Escorts.
They're call girls.
Escorts.
Yeah.
No, I just watched that episode of Archer. They are call girls, sir.
So on this instance, they're still hookers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No judgment.
No kink shaming on the show.
They knew exactly what they were getting into, okay?
Yeah.
The trunk of my car.
Yeah, right. So anyway, once you have your crew picked out, your strategy and all that stuff, you're hiring by keyword. Now, you can hire anything else in your faction at +1 soulstone. One of the other cool things I have recently learned is that you can actually hire if your keyword has models in other factions. Like puppet. I believe that Coryphy is a puppet keyword in the Arcanist faction. However, playing anything that can hire puppets or summon puppets, you can summon Coryphy.
Yeah. Well, no, most things that summon only summon minions, though. So they usually have to still have the minion.
Coryphy is,
Coryphy's at least a henchman, if not a master.
No, it's either an enforcer or a minion. You've got the faction pack closest to you.
God.
Which one?
The Arcanist.
Arcanist? All right, I'll find
Yeah,
it.
because there's a Corfy Duet, I think, is an enforcer.
Yeah, I don't know as much about the Arcanists.
But the regular Corfy or mannequins, I know mannequins are minions, and I think they have the puppet keyword also.
yeah, mannequins are definitely a puppet
So
and a minion.
You can actually summon them or hire them into a keyword puppet crew.
I really
even
like
if
that
it's
blue
never
color.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I just don't know much about Corfy because I don't know that much about Arcanist.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the problem you're going to run into if you're hiring something that's like another keyword that's out of faction is it's probably not going to have a lot of synergy with your crew.
Yeah, here's Mannequin, their performer puppet construct.
Yep.
Corfy minion. Yeah, Corfy
Yeah.
minion, performer puppet. Yeah, I should know what they were.
Yep. And so so you can summon those in or hire them into your crew if you're puppet keyword. Just as a note, that is how you can actually hire sometimes out of faction, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Especially if you have those masters that are dual, like we were just talking about
Well,
him,
like Marcus.
Marcus and what's his name? He's Neverborn Guild. Lucius.
Yeah. So you can hire anything that is the elite keyword, whether it's Neverborn or Guild. And you can actually declare factions because I think in the Neverborn faction he's actually Mimic keyword. I think he has two.
Yeah.
And then he's elite keyword in the Guild. So you sometimes you are limited that way, but you have to pay attention to kind of both things. Because like Zip is Bayou, but he's also Outcast, and he can hire anything infamous. And then I think he may also have, I can't remember what other, he may have another keyword in his crew, but I can't. But he's infamous, so he can hire anything that's infamous, be it Bayou or Outcast, or you can play him as Bayou, whichever way. Anyway, so that's kind of the rundown on crew hiring, and you hire up to whatever soulstone limit you have, 30, 40, 50. If you have anything left over, the balancing act is that you get whatever's left over in soulstones. So if you have 45 soulstones worth of model, 45 soulstones worth of models, you're going to get that additional 5 if you're playing a 50 soulstone game as soulstones. And soulstones can be used to help you draw cards into your hand to get a better hand. It can be used to add a positive to the duel and damage flip.
And probably the most important thing why you always want to keep soulstones on is they can add a suit to a flip. Because sometimes that's one of the major things in this game is the triggers that come from suits in the game. If you're not able to get that suit when you absolutely need that trigger to happen, especially if you're playing a summoner army or if you've got some ability that has to trigger at the right time in order for your strategy to work, you've got to at least have 3 soulstones going in any game so that you can at least make that happen for the first turn or 2.
Yeah, I usually recommend 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Getting over that, and you can have up to 10, but 10 soulstones gets a little to the point where, okay, you can do all these bonuses, but you don't have enough models or good models to actually be effective against your opponent.
I've kind of thought about rebuilding a summoner list that uses 10 soulstones, though, where you summon in, but you're just going crazy with soulstones early.
Shit, build it. We'll see how it works.
All right. We'll talk about it next time.
Maybe. But yeah, and then of course, you can, like I said, you can do that. You can also block damage. So you can give, if your master takes damage from somebody, you can spend a soulstone to give your opponent a negative on the damage flip.
And use a soulstone to reduce the damage you take.
Right. Well, you can use it for one or the other because you can only use like one soulstone per duel. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of have to pick which one you want to do. It just depends.
I always do.
Yeah,
Pick which one I want to do.
I know.
Dick pickle. Oh God. I was about to make a joke about which cousin he was picking, but he beat me to dick
This
pickle.
game is dumb.
You're dumb. You don't call my game dumb.
You didn't even make the game.
I
I'm
made the
one that
game.
Said it.
Yeah, you said it, but I made it into a game.
No, you didn't.
I always make it into a game.
Ugh.
You know what the game's called?
Dick pickle. Oh God.
Shut up. I'm gonna eventually refuse to play your stupid game. It's making for bad radio at this point.
Hey, it's good TV though.
Look, if our ratings drop, I'm gonna be thoroughly upset.
Well, that's only because they're clicking on the wrong button because they're drunk with just like us.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You mean clicking on the wrong button by downloading this podcast?
Well, that too.
Yeah, it's called instant podcast
First mistake.
regret.
That's how
First
I became
mistake.
a host.
Right.
I thought I was getting a cream for male pattern baldness, and next thing I know, I have to like talk every other week.
Wait, mine was a herpes cream.
Scream?
Cream.
Cream. Okay.
They go hand in hand though.
I mean, I lie to work with my audience. That's
Okay.
how that works.
Yeah.
You've got herpes, you're bald. So it's
hey, I never said I had herpes. I just needed the cream.
Sure. Sure.
It's for a friend.
I'm now doing the air quotes for everyone at home.
What do you mean by is? Defined is.
No. Anyway, so, once you have the game actually set up and you're ready to begin, the attacker splits their crew into two different sections, and the defender gets to pick which one deploys first. Then the defender deploys all their models. Then
Yeah,
the attacker,
they do.
Then the attacker deploys their second gang of models. And then, of course, you will have shuffled your, fate decks and frosty cold beer pop.
Yeah.
And then
They don't just give that blue ribbon away.
Yeah. Harvest.
Cheaper than water.
Look, all I got to say is PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. If you take out the bullshit, it's punk rock. It's a true story.
I see what you did there.
Don't you laugh about that. That goes way back to the Grasshopper Clan, and I will fuck you up, son.
Whoa. That escalated quickly.
Yeah, don't mess with my PBR.
No, I love PBR.
Good. We can be friends.
Now?
Later. But yeah, once you have everything set up, you're going to shuffle your deck. You're going to draw 6 cards. And of course, you can spend a soul stone to draw 2 more, but you have to discard back down to 6. It does not always pay to have only high cards in your hand, because sometimes models will make you discard cards. That's a pro tip on strategy.
Pro tip.
Also, don't be stupid and don't blow your wad cheating fate in your first 2 activations.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of new players do. And we've seen it as we've learned the game.
Hell, I've done it.
Yeah, I've done it.
I'll do it right now. Let's go.
I've done it multiple times.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been
My first couple of games was like everything had to survive. Everything had to do max damage. And then by turn 2, I had nothing left.
Yeah,
I always forgot.
that's good. You should.
I was like, oh shit, I have cards.
That also
These do
is
things.
part of the new player experience for Malifaux. There is a lot to kind of keep track of and check out and do that, And then, of course, once you start the game, you flip for initiative, and then you start, activating your models. And when you activate, anything that is not a master has 2 actions. And, of course, we went through kind of the basic actions. You can walk, you can charge, which is a push, has to be in a straight line, stop by terrain, yada, 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 and you get a melee attack at the end. You can interact, which will drop ski markers, which are muy importante for doing schemes. See how that works?
Whoa.
I think there's synchronicity there.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, that's a big word. I know you don't know it.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
To pass my 3rd grade reading level.
Yeah, we know.
See Jane get her ass beat at Malifaux.
Yeah, right? Anyway, and then of course once
Anyway. That should be the new title of the podcast. Anyway.
yeah, ignore my jackass co-host. Once you've done all that nonsense, you start activating your models. And you have 2 different types of duels. You have a simple duel, which is basically you're looking at a power. It has a stat, like stat 6, stat 5. That is what you add to whatever card you flip off your deck. By flipping, I mean you take the top card, you flip it over, and you put it down in the play area.
Oh, shit.
If it's a 10, you add it to that 5, and you get a 15. And if it's a simple duel, it'll have a TN, which will be
Hashtag
like,
math is hard.
yeah, It'll be like 12 or 11 or 13. And basically what that TN number means is if you're better than the TN number, you succeeded.
Hooray!
And then your model gets to do that effect.
There was much rejoicing.
A lot of simple duels are things that don't affect other models, like leap. Different weird things like buffing your other models, stuff like that will always be usually
or area effect abilities that some models throw down that make all of their enemies make a simple duel or they gain a bad effect.
Right, like a shock. It's a shockwave marker.
Yeah.
Basically, you do a simple duel to toss this shockwave out, which is like a grenade.
You have my attention, sir.
Oh, look at
It's like arcane magic grenades.
Do they go boom?
Yes.
Real loud?
Usually they go boom. They do a little bit of damage, and then they do other things like injure or stun, which gets us into conditions, which there's a lot of. Well, there's actually like 10.
Nice segue.
Apparently,
Yeah, which is a lot less than the previous editions, apparently.
Yeah, apparently Malifaux's second edition had like every crew had like 5 different conditions it could throw out that were all unique to it. And it was all ridiculous to figure out.
Yes, not faction, but crew.
Yeah.
I tried reading the rulebook, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a little interesting when you get in the second edition.
It's like, I'm just going to put this back where I found it.
Yeah, there's a reason. Let me tell you something. There's a reason why I think there has been a resurgence in new players and interest for Malifaux 3rd edition. Aside from the lore and the awesome models and the cool shit.
Well,
The rules are so much more streamlined.
a lot of games, I think, are starting to realize less is more. I mean,
Right.
you can have less stats, less abilities, because a lot of the stuff I see in a lot of games that have, 100 different conditions, most of it's the same thing over and over again with a different name to it.
Yep.
And let those kind of functions get out of the way of strategic gameplay, because if you allow that to shine, that's what makes a good game. Where it's the decisions that the players are making, it's the maneuvering of the models and putting them in the right places and making the right decisions. That's the strategic thinking. That's why we all want to play these games, rather than just trying to memorize 108 different things that could be conditioning. Which, like I said, that's actually like 15 with a bunch of different names.
And that's why I play World Eater, so I have to memorize that stuff.
There you go. That's why I played guard, gun line.
You have to memorize orders, sir. I only have one.
I only use like 3 of them. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was about to say there's only 3 that are actually, I think, useful.
Yeah.
I have one.
Line up and shoot.
My army consists of 8 rhinos and berserkers.
There's no rhinos or berserkers in Malifaux.
That's
Joe.
true. That's why it
Not
makes me
yet.
sad. Maybe one day.
There's an immolated rhino in the other.
Is there a Malifaux 40,000?
No. That's a jackass thing to say. You're fired.
Aw.
Aww.
Oh. No one cares.
I care.
No, you don't.
Okay.
But one of the things that I really like about Malifaux is that with the rules and the way they are and how you're doing things, you really create a narrative. And a lot of times, they say bad things happen. You get that. You are ready to go in for the Kamehameha sucker punch of all sucker punches. You've got it situated. You've got it set up. You got your opponent where you want. You spent a soul stone to get a positive on that flip, that damage flip. You are ready to go. You're like, I can feel that the master will perish to me. And then you flip and you hit him. And you're like, oh, look at him squirm. And you see him cheating to get higher cards. And you're cheating higher cards. And boom, no, you still got that shit. And then you flip the damage flip.
And you flip
A black
3.
fucking Joker. And then fuck you, you did 0 damage. Nothing fucking happened.
Yeah.
And it goes like that where it's like, womp, womp, womp.
For the equivalent, that is the equivalent of rolling 3 ones.
Right. And
The thing I like about the
that
game
you can't
is
re-roll
With
when
the
you're on a
malfunction
command. When
special
you're on a
roll.
what I
command.
really like about the deck mechanic is that it's only random to a point. Being that you still only have 54 cards. And it is random, but you are drawing them and discarding them. So it's not like a die roll where it's random every time. So if you start
That's
out...
not true. According to people, your odds of getting a certain number on the dice increase every time you roll it.
Okay.
I've heard that several
So
times.
you have heard it. But
Because statistics don't matter.
So the more you play the game, the more you start realizing you have to pay attention to your deck. You have to pay attention to your opponent's deck. And you start to realize if you start hitting your low stride early or your low stride of cards late, or if you're getting a good mix throughout the whole thing and you're paying attention to where your opponent falls on that, you start to realize where you kind of are late game.
Are you talking about counting cards, sir? Because
Yes,
that's frowned
I am.
upon, like masturbating on an airplane.
I'm okay with all of those things. I'll do them both.
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Yeah.
I will count cards while I masturbate.
I'll be honest. I am paying attention. Like, I'm not sitting there counting cards. I'm not saying that I have actually sat down and thought about putting like point totals to things and making a over/under count while I play. I don't do that at all.
He has a pen and paper every time.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, okay,
Now I
check.
know why he always wins.
But
Hold on before you do that. Let me make sure.
I love the fact that it's not just so purely random, and that there is the ability to come. Because I mean, a lot of times, if you do get that low stride early and it hits you badly, you realize that you've got a big swing coming late game. And
It's always random for me because I just don't pay attention.
I can't do that. I play
Like, oh, look, there's a 2.
yeah,
I could have an entire deck of 2s
being
and I
a
wouldn't know
poker
any
player
better.
for too many years. I just can't help but like pay attention.
And thus proving that Joe's natural state is one of just absolute obliviousness.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's true.
Let's play for money.
That's why my wallet never leaves the house with more than $10 in it.
You're telling me I can make $10?
No, because I already bought beer before I came over here.
Okay.
I can make $3.95. That's still $3.95 more than I had when I walked in this motherfucker.
Spent them on dick pickles.
Oh.
Thought we were past this.
Never.
You were trying to pass a dick pickle?
I mean,
Are you talking shit about our sponsors?
no. I would never do that. I'm just kidding. I would.
I would. Yeah, you would. Yeah.
If you make a bad product, I will.
Sponsors out there,
I will talk
please
shit about
understand
you.
we will mock you mercilessly. If that's what you're looking for, this is the place for you.
You know, it's probably why we don't have any sponsors.
Well, we have dick pickle.
And I've never been approached by any sponsors, is because they know I'm going to make fun of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a point made pause.
Oh.
That's-
You can't see it, but he dropped the microphone on the floor.
yeah, in the military, they're called PMPs.
Yeah. We have the Fisher Price foam microphone just for making points.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Load.
Bringing up acronyms over here.
You got to have acronyms. That was a belch, not an acronym.
I give that one maybe a 7.
Yeah.
7. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's like a 2.
Yeah.
It's my rating system. I can make up whatever number I want.
Yeah, but no.
You don't like it? Make your own rating system.
I did, and
Okay.
it's a 2.
Okay, then.
I'll give 2.5. It was well bodied.
It was mainly just because of the facial expression.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught the nuance.
I give it a 9 for flavor.
You know, I found that in polite company, it is never a good idea to belch and then shout out, "I remember her" right afterward.
What about tastes like grandma?
That's fine.
Just like Grandma used to make.
Oh, no. But, into the mechanics, you know.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we're talking about with the randomness is that basically whenever you are at an opposed duel, which is the other type of duel, you and your opponent will flip a card off the deck. Whoever is lowest gets the opportunity to do what we call cheating fate, which is where the deck of cards in your hand comes in, and you can choose to replace that card with a higher value card. It does not add, keep adding. It's just, if you had a 6 and you have a 12 in your hand, you can replace that 6 with a 12. Now, if it changes the suit, it will also change that suit, in which case you may not be able to declare a trigger. However, as some of the people I've been teaching Malifaux to have learned sometimes, especially if somebody is, going to damage you and this is an attack and they're going to win, even if you can't beat them, sometimes it's a good idea to cheat that low card up as close to their total as possible. Because once they've hit you, they get to flip again to do what's called a damage flip. And based on how much they beat you, and everything in the game runs on a 1 through 5 as a weak, a 6 through 10 as a moderate, and 11 and higher as a severe. Basically, if they only beat you by like 1 to 5 points, they get a negative to their flip, which means they flip 2 and take the lowest.
And if you're a horrible, horrible person and you've been counting their cards, maybe you just use one of your soul stones to put them at a negative on their damage flip because they have more lower cards than higher cards.
And then they're going to pull 2 cards, even if one's high, they have to take the lowest. Furthermore,
And lose the red Joker.
right.
Oh, that's a good time when someone like goes all big baller and they get all these cards and then they get their red Joker on like a success flip that they were gonna win.
Son of a bitch.
That they were gonna totally win anyway.
Yeah. Or, that just does increase your margin of winning. Or as they call it in this game, the accuracy fate modifier. However, I did find out that as we were playing the other side the other day, and in the other side, if you flip the black and red Joker, you can pick which one.
No.
In Malifaux, if you flip the black and red, you have to take the black.
Yeah.
That's
I
such
did know
big
that.
donkey dicks.
One thing I do like about the other side over Malifaux is the fact that all factions can play together.
Heresy.
Wrong game, sir.
This is the Malifaux podcast. Heresy. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
you want to talk about heresy?
No.
Oh.
Shut up, World Eater. Take your chain axe and shove it up your own ass.
No. That's
Sideways.
no fun.
Nothing but guard mortars.
I send in the next wave too.
That's my guard. It's just lots
Wow.
of guard mortars, some tanks.
All I could think about after that was, that's what she said. Anyway.
Pickle.
Oh, yeah. Remember how things sucked when we didn't have a sponsor?
I know, right?
Yeah.
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 Moving on up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
To the dick pickle side.
We've completely made up this sponsor.
No, this is a real
No.
sponsor. This
Why
is a
are you
real
lying?
product. This is a real product.
Yes.
I'm gonna make this and jar it and sell it.
It's www.dickpickle.com.
Yeah.
www.dickpickle.com.
For all of your dick pickle needs.
And of course, our next sponsor will be Ernst Borgman and Smith Law Firm Attorney, which can be found at clownpenis.fart. That was a Saturday Night Live reference. Because all the good websites were taken. So it was a law firm that had to have clownpenis.fart as their website. www.clownpenis.fart. It was amazing.
It's like that GoDaddy thing where you can just make up your own website and take the URLs.
Yeah, that works. But anyway, so if the other side of that is you can get into a positive flip. And in
those
so
are
doing,
fun.
yeah, in so doing, you can draw 2 and take whichever card you like. Not much reason to take the lowest I've ever found, but if you wanted to, you could.
Just to rub it in their
Well,
faces.
sometimes the lower one could be the right one because you want the trigger. Like it's enough to succeed and you want
Right.
that trigger.
Right. If like you're doing a damage flip and you'd rather have you have a bonus on the damage flip and you don't care about doing the damage, but you want to do the trigger, then you might take the lower one. And of course, you can have multiple negatives and you can have multiple positives up to
3.
3? Yeah.
3 card
So
flips.
basically,
Jesus,
at
fuck.
at 3 positive or 3 negative, you are drawing 4 cards and either taking the lowest or picking which one out of the 4 you want to take.
That just sucks because you're losing 4 cards.
Well, when you run out of cards, you reshuffle your deck.
Yeah, but what if they're good ones?
Then you get them all back.
Yeah.
I know, but what if you just started is what my point is. You just started the game.
Yeah, there's
You lose-
other good cards in your deck.
You think that. How do you know?
Because they're the same every time.
Supposedly. Allegedly.
Legend. Well, unless you're playing the Dreamer crew and where you actually like pitch cards out and all that. So, but hopefully you're stacking your deck right.
Jeremy does.
I
Trust
do.
me.
I do. It's awful.
I've played against that shit. I fucking hate it.
Did
I have never come closer. This is how I know I like Malifaux, because I've never come closer to flipping the table than I have when playing Malifaux, specifically against a Goram Dreamer crew and all their bullshit shenanigans.
That's what I bought too.
Yeah, I know. And
It's a fun crew. It's really fun.
you're enough of a dipshit who doesn't understand tactical nuance. I'll just slaughter you.
That's fine. They're painted cool. That's all that matters. I don't give a shit.
I'm so mean to my
Do
friend.
yourself a favor. Get yourself Baby Cade and Hinomatsu.
Don't give him ideas.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what you just said.
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't need to.
You can listen to the recording later.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what?
it's in there forever now.
Yeah, you know what? Just buy other things. Like, I don't know. You could buy...
Take you to the Bandersnatch. I don't play with Bandersnatch.
Or
I think I've had that one before.
Yeah, well, I already know you had hepatitis or whatever it was we were talking about earlier.
No, that came alongside of it.
Yeah.
yeah,
It was just a side order.
Yeah.
Hepatitis
I
C.
banded someone's snatch. I don't know whose it was, but it was fun.
Yeah. Panama City. Woo!
Like sucking tuna fish through a billow pad.
Oh,
Oh my God! I can only get so erect.
you are fired. As your podcast supervisor, you are being sacked.
You're not my podcast supervisor.
Yes, I am. Anyway,
I looked over too late. Then.
Yeah, you did. I tried to double team that. Yeah,
didn't work.
didn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, ruined all of Jeremy's plans.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'll try harder.
Yeah, you will.
There's a difference between trying harder and trying harder. Just so you're aware.
It's kind of like let's eat grandma and let's eat grandma.
Commas are important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually.
All right, back to Malifaux.
Yeah,
Anyways,
as long as I'm not saying
We
it.
need to turn that into the drinking game too. Every time he says anyways.
or but
No. I'm not giving that one.
You have your own quirks.
Yeah.
fuckhead.
don't we all?
Yeah.
That's what's funny.
So don't make fun of mine.
I can make fun of yours.
Don't kink shame me.
Damn it, Linda.
Right.
No, have you seen that meme with the dog who's the owner's like, stop trying to run away from me. You keep choking yourself. She says, don't kink shame me, Linda.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay. So where were we?
We were talking about flips and doing
Oh,
flips
yes.
and things, and that's all basically the rundown on opposed duels. One of the great things is that because of the schemes and the strategies and the way that they work and the way that the board is set up and the way that your terrain is and line of sight works and all that, it literally feels like you're creating a narrative with this crew. You're creating a story, you're doing things, you're trying to achieve goals that are not literally like your ITC missions in 40K, which is you can kill something and hold something. I mean, I have no problems with it. I mean, it's a way to
Not
play
a
the
fan.
game. I think it's fun. I don't have any issues. I've played in ITC tournaments and they've been I've had a good time.
It's not the missions, it's the people. Because
I can see that. Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
had good missions, but bad people playing.
I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. There's going to be people
Oh, yeah,
that are
that's-
shitheads.
I'm just saying,
It
I
doesn't
was-
matter what game.
It was a broad term. I don't
Right. So, I mean, I'm not going to blame ITC or go, ugh, just because I hear ITC because of the people.
That's why I do it.
But, I mean, the thing is that the vast majority of people that I have met playing in RTTs that were ITC tournaments were actually really good people, and I had a lot of fun. I know, of course, there are the, jackasses in there, just like you're going to find in any tournament scene, whether it's Malifaux, Other Side, 40K, whatever, Song of Ice and Fire, doesn't matter what game it is, you're going to have idiots.
Yep.
You're going to have neckbeards, you're going to have grognards, you're going to have the fucking
Grognar?
dipshits.
Cheeto fingers.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. There's a terminology I missed. Grognars. Please
Yeah.
explain.
Neckbeard,
Well, I heard neckbeard, but what's grognar?
same thing.
Oh.
It's the full neck beard.
Yeah.
Like,
Your grognards are, the ones that are just, they in it to win it. They don't give a shit.
Okay.
They got to know stuff. They know everything, doesn't matter. And if you don't do what their net list tells them to do, then whatever.
just claim wobbly model and walk away.
Right.
Wobbly model.
Or you can just bend over in front of the table, light your fart into a flamethrower to destroy
It's all their models.
the entire table. Just light the whole entire table on fire. Fuck you, buddy. Walk away. Don't
Dragar.
I don't actually condone that. Don't ever do that and blame it on me. You can do it, just don't blame it on me.
You can blame that on me all day. I'm good. Yeah.
Yes, I will claim ownership
I will take
of that.
so much credit for any of that kind of behavior. Yeah.
But anyway, so
Anyways.
so moving on. We're gonna change to that. We'll
Okay.
start saying moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Just like my life.
Yeah.
Meet us next week where our new sponsor is the Moving On Relocation Program. Have you?
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah.
However,
Just remember, kids are a lot easier to move with her to crate.
God. Stop.
Oh, that was. But everyone at home, that was me beating on the table.
The sad thing is, I'm not the drunk one.
Yeah.
Neither am I. This is my natural personality.
Sure. You have a lot of really cool mechanics in the game. And every single crew to me has felt unique and thematic and does what they want to do. Like December actually hands out a lot of slow, freezes things. You're throwing out ice pillars and blasting stuff with, wintry frozen snowball air, shit like that. It's great. Same thing with like Leviticus and his amalgam, which is basically, he's putting together constructs of dead people and machines to go fuck shit up.
It's like some Nazi shit.
Well, so every single main faction, whether it's Bayou, Arcanist, Neverborn, Outcast, you name it, they all have their beater crews, they have their scheme running crews, and they all, there's a lot of similarities in functionality, but they all still, like you said, feel very unique, and how they go about doing it feels very unique, and it does feel, every game feels very thematic. You can almost feel a story unfolding as you're playing the game.
Right. Like the Parker Barrows crew, the bandits. You have a lot of abilities that, are throwing out, ski markers and doing all kinds of weird shit. And it kind of feels like you're doing this. Everything they do has to do with their guns and stuff like that. They can shoot into engagements.
Yeah, they're rangy as a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. One of the awesome things about his crew is Mad Dog Bracket and his Blow It to Hell, which is destroying destructible terrain. So, like, somebody's like, oh, I'm December. Okay, I'm going to play Parker Barrows because I can blow up every single one of your fucking ice pillars. Like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Isn't that the same crew that almost like steals soul stones from you?
Yeah. They could.
That's fun.
I read that one today, actually.
That's fun.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
I can just see that happen to someone. They got this whole plan. Everything's going to be perfect.
They should do
My
it.
opponent is totally fucked. Wait, what? Did you take my last soul stone? Oh, shit. And everything just falls apart.
With your 10 soul stones?
Well, no, when they had the last one left.
No, I think it'd be hilarious. So like 4 or 5 of your soul stones.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be kind of funny to see that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's that kind of stuff.
yeah, that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, that would be rather hilarious.
I didn't know you needed my approval for this shit.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You're not my podcast supervisor.
Yes, I am. Quite pointedly, sir, I am.
Not my real dad.
Shush.
I'm not going to call him dad.
You don't have to.
Good, because I'm not.
Just
Even if there's a fire.
Just call him Terry.
But he loves it when you call him Big Papa.
Throw your hands in the air if you're a true player.
Terry. Call him Terry. His name is Terry.
Doback.
Stepdad Terry.
I'm missing something.
I am too.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I'm wearing my sad face.
And he has no penis.
Big pickle. I told you that in confidence.
For a second there, I thought Jeremy was going to say it. I was waiting.
With bated breath. Is he? Is he
With
not?
dick pickle breath.
Oh.
Anyways,
See, I don't have to say it anymore. Now Joe's saying it for me.
Yeah.
I just
So
see
it
the
works
look on
out.
your face, and I just say it for you that way.
Yeah,
You're
because
welcome.
that's what I'm thinking.
This episode brought to you by editing software.
No, I'm not going to edit any of this shit out. I actually try
We're
to
doing it live. Fuck it.
I mean, pretty much. I try to do everything as little editing as possible because I really don't like it. It's really annoying to sit there for hours going, and okay, I gotta edit this. Oh shit! Okay, somebody got to move this around. This is that guy said something wrong, and then figure out and fuck around with it and try and loop shit.
First of all, nobody says anything wrong on this podcast.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Timing is perfect. Enunciation is
100%.
impeccable.
I smell horse shit.
Save your
I
jewelry.
think you're just stroking.
You smell toast?
Twitch. The day I've had, yeah. I don't remember where the fuck we were, but yeah, it was talking about thematic of the crew and things like that. So it's all really good. I really enjoy it. It feels like you're playing in the world. It feels like you're doing things, even when we have like shitty terrain, which I'm known for because fuck a bunch of terrain. I hate doing terrain.
We've already been over this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah. I believe this was brought up in the previous
Yes,
podcast.
yes, it was.
Yeah, I like to mention it as much
Yeah.
as I can so that everybody
Yeah.
knows I hate doing terrain.
This is going to be our other podcast.
Yes.
It's just going to be a minute and a half.
Why
of
terrain
fuck
sucks
doing
dick.
terrain, yeah.
No. Terrain doesn't necessarily suck dick. Having it on the table is great. I just want other people to do it for me. I accept donations of terrain. I'm going to start a
Painted terrain.
Yes. I'm going to start a GoFundMe so people will send me painted terrain. That's
like
the
this
thing,
plan.
right?
Instead of sending money to little Jimmy for cancer, they're going to send you money for painted terrain.
No, they don't just send me money.
Okay, I know everybody wants to be sensitive about this. Fuck Jimmy, he doesn't play games.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow,
Whoa.
Yeah.
that's rude.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're off my podcast. That's
You know what? Get Jimmy on your podcast. He don't know what the fuck to talk about.
I might. At least he'll generate revenue.
You know, yeah, fine. Yeah, enjoy listening to an hour about how much breathing sucks.
Much breathing. It's all going to be interrupted by his iron lung, okay?
How are you going to edit out his iron lung shit? I don't think there's a noise canceling filter for that.
That's right. Everyone who laughed enjoyed hell with me.
I really hate you guys sometimes.
Oh, you mean it?
Yeah. I mean that. I mean that from
The bottom of my heart.
bottom of something. I don't know about my heart, but
Of your dick pickle?
yeah. Dick pickle. I don't have anything left to drink.
Is that like all you've been drinking on all night? Is that one little cup?
No, that's been refilled a couple times.
Okay, good.
God, get your head out of your ass, Jeremy.
No,
You're over there counting
It's-
cards, but you can't count
it's-
drinks? What the fuck?
it's warm and safe in there.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's like being back in the womb.
But it smells bad.
You get used to it.
You
Yeah.
do.
That's what your mom said.
Yeah. I like to deposit my skull in my
No, I
prison
don't think
wallet.
she does.
No, she did.
There's just some things you just can't get used to.
No, she said, yeah. Get used to it.
Which part?
All of it.
Okay.
All of the parts.
All of the parts.
I was
just
there.
get used to all of the parts.
I was there, you weren't.
That's true.
Yep. I know it's true. Because like I said, I was there.
Well, duh, it was your basement.
I know. My manacles too.
I'm feeling really left out. I wasn't invited now. I'm very sad, and I'm going to go home.
Hey, I wasn't invited either,
myself to
Jeremy.
sleep
Don't
tonight.
feel left out.
Yeah. It's just like a huge chunk of this gone.
No,
That's not editing. That's just cut.
no, we're gonna leave it in there.
Nice.
Also, no.
Also, no.
I own that day now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should.
I should,
That
I do.
was pretty epic.
Oh my goodness, that was just great. I almost want to talk about it. That was so funny.
Yeah,
Talk about it.
No.
What is it? I'm curious.
Oh, he doesn't know about Also No.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
We were doing the podcast for the Hobby League, and so we were actually doing kind of like a thematic thing with the whole voice acting,
Which
trying to do
was
like
a great
an
idea
Imperial
and sounded
broadcast.
so much fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to being part of it.
The idea was to bring interaction from the people that were playing in the Hobby League with the podcast, and have them actually listen to the damn thing. And that's how hard up for listeners I am. Is I was going to give them, battle reports basically via the podcast, doing the whole Imperial thing. And so we tried to do these interviews, and Jeremy had set up to do something else because I talked about
Okay.
doing it a different way.
Yeah, so maybe just put him where in my frame of mind at the time. I had this whole idea, and this is mostly my fault. He had told me some things that he wanted to do, and I had very much internalized them. This is what we're doing, and I had gotten myself in this mind because we were going to do this whole like the what was the word, like the news broadcast.
Yeah, like a news broadcast.
And so I thought he was going to be like, the anchor, and I would be like the flavor commentary, but we were going to be doing the whole like news thing back and forth shtick. And I had like all these ideas in my head, and I had it all worked out. And I was ready to pop on it. And then he goes to where he's doing that, and I'm like the colonel of the army, and my brain shut completely.
Oh no!
No, you have no.
His brain scanners full on fucking exploded and melted into his asshole.
Into his asshole, and then out of his asshole.
So I had this whole idea that I was going to be doing, and it was just like I had the ability to improvise just did not exist for me at that moment. And so he's interviewing the colonel, and I'm just literally like, no. And he asked me another question. No. And then he asked me another question. Also no. I just could not turn my brain on at all.
Yeah. It was pretty damn epic. Because I'm sitting here going, okay, come on.
Do
Come on.
something. Do something.
Like the
was
first
so
couple
bad.
times, I'm like, okay, well, this kind of fits with the whole, stiff-necked Imperial guy. And then I'm like asking questions that were like bordering on like what would be heretical for a newscaster to ask a colonel of the Imperial Guard, and he's like, also no.
No, the best part was like I started out with some really shitty accent that I lost halfway through.
Yeah. and that part that was one part of a podcast that we literally got done, and he's like,
can we please do that again?
he's like, dude, seriously, let's do that again. I do not want that to air. And I'm like, okay. And
You know it's bad when
That
Eric
gave
is
me a
okay
minute
with
to,
it.
like actually wrap my okay, Colonel, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And then I wouldn't say I rocked the next one, but I sure did a hell of a lot better.
yeah, I can definitely say that it was a lot better, and I can definitely tell you that.
Well, after that, the only way to go is up.
Only going up. Yeah.
And you know what? I think honestly, if enough people send me money or just like really good ratings, I will release that.
Oh fuck yeah. Let's set
It's
a
a
bar.
ransom tape
Yeah,
now.
it's a ransom tape now. Absolutely.
Let's ransom the listeners to go for more. Anyway, I think we pretty much gushed about Malifaux and done a lot of other things that we can do. There's not going to be a hobby segment or anything, and after this, we are going to go to a bi-weekly basis. The main reason I pushed this one out was because Malifaux did come out on the 28th, the 3rd edition, and I wanted to get a podcast in before it was too far removed from the release date. Because I actually do, regardless of the humor and how stupid we are, I actually do think about these things on some level. And I'm glad that, we have seen, especially, I will say congratulations to Joe and Jeremy. Because episode 1 of the new Beer Dice and Sick Minis was the most downloaded episode
Yeah.
in,
All I
right
got was
after
this
release.
lousy T-shirt.
Right.
You got a T-shirt? What the fuck?
No, he bought that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
didn't
just got
get
it
that.
in recognition.
Yeah. But we did actually get the most downloads of a single episode in 7 days.
God, 3 people. What's up?
Oh,
that we've ever
They were all me.
right?
Different devices.
Probably that we've ever had. And
Thank you all. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it is wonderful. And I mean, without
Somebody
y'all,
actually listens to this?
yeah, I know. I was surprised myself. And so without y'all actually putting in and being a part of it, by listening to it, it kind of it validates our job and what we're doing, and we like to see that. The other thing I like to see is y'all joining the BD and SM Drunkards, which is how you can find our group on Facebook that has to do with the podcast. Feel free to join up, sign up, send that in. We'll add you. You can post pictures of your minis, talk about different games. We talk about all the games, from Warhammer 40K to Age of Sigmar to Infinity to whatever it is we're playing. Song of Ice and Fire, Malifaux, whatever. You're welcome to post. I leave it open.
Full contact cornhole. Don't
Right.
knock it. It's awesome.
Full contact.
Full
It's also
contact.
known-
Well, it's basically an orgy with beanbags.
Or just straight up anal
You just
rape.
like punch the beanbags, or
No, you basically just have sex on a love sack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that every day.
Yeah. So yeah, you know the game. Yeah.
perfect.
You're a winner. Nice.
That's well, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. Get your fucking shitty ass Ford and get out of here.
Oh, he drives.
No, that's a game that I do play
car.
because
Yeah.
whenever somebody says something's wrong with their cars, and I say, "Oh, what kind is it?" and they say, "Oh, it's a Toyota," I go, "Yeah, well, that's what you get for buying a Toyota." No matter what kind of car it is, I always do that.
Yeah, my other favorite thing to do with
And this is why I like you.
with you and your Ford, the problem with your car is circled on the front grille.
It's true.
Yeah, it is. It's a piece of shit.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's a nice car.
No, it doesn't have AC.
I know. Sweat, fat boy, sweat.
It's basically like riding a grocery cart down 400.
That would actually be kind of cool. Regardless, we are going to be signing off here. I just want to say, go ahead, rate us, give us our ratings. Tell us the God's honest truth about what you think. If we're idiots, go for it.
We already know it's fine.
Yeah, it's your feedback that helps us do this and will give us direction to improve, change things, or do whatever else it is we're going to do with it.
And I just
Or if we don't agree with you, we'll just say, fuck you.
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck your couch.
But more importantly, I want to thank our sponsor, Dick Pickle,
Dick
for
Pickle.
making this
I'm out of
episode
beer.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all out of drinks, so we're not going to do that. So if
That's just purely for you guys at home.
can we get a barbershop quartet Dick Pickle right before we sign off?
Right.
Dick Pickle.